everybody in Facebook world. Haven't been on here in a while. Just messing around with some filters. That would be kind of fun. Considering I'm in my new place now and I am trying to organize, and it's really hard for a person that has OCD with trying to figure out where things are going to be and less space to put them. I don't have shelves anymore. I don't have 3 rooms to store my stuff. It's a lot of fun. But I'm just coming on here to share with you guys. I really thought these butterflies would move. There was one filter where they all kind of moved. I mean, I like my butterflies, but if they're just going to stay there, it's kind of boring, right? I do like the freckles, though. See if you guys see. I got freckles now, guys! Alright, so I'm going to take this filter off. But anyway, there we go. So either way, alright, let's see if I can see comments, too. Oh, no, it's not going to show comments. I never realize anymore how the comments go, or the comments don't go. But, I guess I'm just going to have to modify it on my laptop, or my desktop here. Alright, so, basically, I'm here to update everybody on what's been going on. As you can see, I'm in my new place. This is my bedroom. The only place where I can actually kind of do anything. I'm trying to organize where my desk is, and the light comes in out of this window here on this side, which is nice, but when you're trying to do a video or something, it's kind of off. I had to get internet, which is cool. It works. I love it, and it is what it is. Basically, let's see here. I've been here for about a month now. I moved in last month. And it's different. It's definitely a different kind of lifestyle. Not used to neighbors upstairs, people with kids with disabilities where they just kind of start screaming or acting out because they're autistic, and that's how they communicate. So it's something to get used to. Luckily, it doesn't happen at night, which is a cool thing. But yeah, it's different. I like being up on the hill now, because I'm on Mill Street Apartments, so it's being up on the hill instead of down in the valley. But yeah, it's definitely something to get used to. It's 30 years of stuff that I've collected that's still, here, and also the historic documents that I took from my grandparents, like the pictures, the photos, a lot of the actual physical furniture. There's a couple stuff still at the house that I need to get rid of, or that we need to get rid of, that nobody really wants or can use, because everybody else is moving too. And I've noticed that big trend of people moving and transitioning and things like that. So yeah, it's been very interesting. And there's bees. I don't have I would open this window right here, but I don't have a screen because the last girl that was in this apartment decided to try to I don't know, jimmy your way in all the time, because there's a fee for trying to get a new key. When you lose your key, you can't get into your apartment. So instead of doing that and dealing with that, she decided to damage the screens and come in through the windows and things, and yeah, not very good. So I'm waiting on the actual screen for this one, because the actual base of the screen has to be replaced, and it's on order. And that's another thing, living in apartment life. Usually I'm used to just going and doing the stuff myself. Where I work, you can do just screen replacements and just pay for it out of pocket, and I'm used to kind of doing that kind of a thing. Like, okay, here's this, pay for this, get it done, whatever. And now you're like, okay, if you have to have something done, you have to put in a request for it, and then you have to wait until they're ready. And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, eh. But it's a very different dynamic. That it's a learning curve, and hey, I need to be in this learning curve for divine guidance for something. I don't know. So trying to figure out where I'm going to put things. My new system, I thrive on systems, and I've noticed that when I don't have a system going, I am scatterbrained up the wazoo. You haven't seen me lately because I've been working, and I've been working on the weekends. So today is one of the days that I don't have doctor's appointments, and I'm actually finally free, and I don't have to run around doing other things to get my life in order. It's one of the few days that actually the sun is legitly out right now. And just time to breathe. I love to try to pull my crystals out. I have a couple of them. Actually, not that one. They're actually, if I take this off my computer, they're over there. As you can see, my little bed on the table over there. Ooh. I put a new pop socket on the back of this because I had an old one, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. And I've been doing a lot of my Young Living stuff. I'm actually in a challenge right now for a lymphatic cleanse challenge. So it's like a lymph system challenge, and I really definitely need it because I think that's what's really going on. Just went to my doctor yesterday. No, day before yesterday, Tuesday. Losing my days when I work on the weekend. And she doesn't like the fact that this is still swollen. And like I said, this has been swollen for like about 4 years now. And they're really trying to figure out what the heck's going on. I was supposed to have an endoscopy, but when my test came back, the GI doctor was like, oh, you don't have celiac disease, you don't have Crohn's disease, all your blood work came back fine, your genetic test was fine, so you don't have to really worry about it if you don't want to. And I said, oh, if everything's fine, then I don't have to worry about it. Well, I went back to my doctor. Oh, don't mind my cat. She's going to be meowing because the door's closed. Because it's just an easier way to keep all this. Shadow, come here. Sit in the sun. She usually hides under the bed, but... Anyway, they said that because I'm anemic, they're trying to figure out where the loss of blood is coming from. And so... it's not necessarily the fact that the gluten, because I've had to eat gluten again, which because I was eating gluten because I had to have the blood test, so now I'm like, okay, what's the thing in here? And it keeps, at work I have to have something that, like, keep me going, because just rice and chicken in a crock pot doesn't exactly keep me going when I'm on my feet. In this job, it's the job that I've had the most having to be on my feet, not having breaks. For an 8-hour shift, I get a half an hour lunch, but you get usually 15 minutes that you can take, but we're so busy that I never do it, and you're constantly on your feet, and you're lifting heavy mulch and things like that. So, it's a little bit different. Cool update with that, though, is I got a offer for a job for $22 an hour, so I'm going to see if I can take that one. But it takes, they said, 6 to 10 weeks for everything to go through with the background checks, the interviews. You know, you have to go, there's like 4 interviews you have to do, and they're all like on Zoom, and they're all out of Canada, kind of a Canada-based company to, you know, the US. It's very interesting. But hey, $22 an hour is $22 an hour, right? Especially when you got a new place you have to support. Cool thing about this place is I only have to pay electric, so that's cool. And I got AC. It's the first time I've ever had a place with AC, so that's really, really cool. The thing with the GI, though, is she really wants me to get the endoscopy done because she's like, we need to rule out your stomach for being a possible thing with your eating gluten, from possibly having some kind of blood loss in your stomach somehow. So I'm like, okay. Because all my other tests came back fine. This is the problem I've had for 20-some years. All my tests come back within normal ranges. And now that I'm eating more wheat, how can it be within normal ranges and things like that still? If you see me look off to the side, it's only because there's this giant wasp that's going in to the thing over here, and if y'all know me, I'm squirrely, kind of, so I'll be like, woo! And I freaking hate wasps, but that's the thing is, like, do I go and get the wasp spray and do it myself, or do I wait on somebody to get it professionally done? I don't know. And I've heard from some of the residents here that after the shutdown, this place has not kept up on the stuff, probably because they don't have a lot of funds to be able to replace stuff, and some of the people that were here trashed the apartments, like the one upstairs that the one lady moved back into. Yeah, I went up there and looked at it. It's terrible. Like, they destroyed that rug, they stained it and stuff, and I'm like, how can people be so disrespectful? Like, seriously? But I learned, and I lived in a different, you know, time frame. Like, I was raised by my grandparents, so it's a little bit different. Get different values and things. I kind of respect my items and stuff like that, so it's different when you're put in with different people from different walks of life versus just your little town people, you know. So it's a little bit different. Hey, it's a learning curve, right? Everybody's different. If we didn't have all these different people, we wouldn't be in this great world to be able to know differences and different, aspects. And my allergies are going insane. We're trying to figure that out too, because with the lymph challenge, it drains. And I've been learning that you kind of have to go like this and you massage it to the sides, and then you massage it here and then you pull it down. And here's where I've always had problems, like in here. And if this one doesn't drain to down here and in your chest here, then that's where you have like the buildup and the blockages, and it's all down your spine too. It's very interesting learning all this stuff. I love it. I love these young living challenges and things that I go through and deal with, because you learn a lot about the body and the body systems and what you need to think. This one, this lymph challenge, is really good because it's like, hey, are you lethargic? Yes, I've been lethargic for most of my life, and this is why a lot of people are like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Can you be in my body, please? Because I'd love to give you my body so you can figure it out. And I'm a HSP, highly sensitive person. It goes with the being an empath and having spiritual gifts and things like that too. So that is another whole aspect of it. But anyway, in order to know what's going on with your body, you have to be able to do like things. So I figured, hey, there's a lot of things on the list that resonated with me. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We'll see how it happens. But halfway through, like I'm halfway through the challenge right now, and my bath stuff came in, because we're supposed to be taking these detox baths. So I was like, I didn't have my one thing. So what I ended up having to do is I had to write notes. And y'all know I am not a note taker. Even in high school, I didn't like taking notes. The first thing that we were doing was we were taking the multigrains. It's multigrains, and I'm almost out of this whole entire bottle. You take them like directed twice a day, 3 pills twice a day. You can either take a total of 4, 2 pills twice a day, or 6. I'm doing the 6 only because I really need that drainage. Especially with eating stuff that doesn't agree with me, like the wheat, in order to stay, with it at work to be able to function. It helps with the brain fog too, and all that stuff. Then you have Cell Light Magic, which is an oil versus a lotion. The girl that's doing this works in a doctor's office, and they had it down to a T after doing it for a couple times. For figuring out how to do this, and she went to nursing school and things like that, so she learned all about it in her little, you see her doing her videos, and she's like reading from the actual textbook about the lymphatic system, and it's really interesting. Just like this thick book, like our oil reference desktop. And this has got, I just got this in, mind you. I'll explain it in a minute. It's got grapefruit oil, cypress oil, cedarwood oil, juniper, clary sage, olive oil, and wheat germ oil. So some of those are base oils, and the other ones that are the main ingredients for this would be that I basically didn't have this, and so what I did is I DIY'd it. So I took my V6, so this is not an official V6. I have to change the little label on it in case I get confused when I'm making something. And I put grapefruit in it, I put cypress in it, cedarwood in it, and clary sage. So I had those on hand from other orders I've had where I got free product. And I decided to put 10 drops of those, all of them, in here as well, which is really cool. Now the other thing is, technically, you use that and you use it on your body, like all over your body. It's supposed to be able to take those fat cells in your cellulite and be able to just kind of like help detox that out, because your fat cells stay in your body because your lymphatic system is clogged. And that's why a lot of people who go on these diets can't really lose the weight, because it's not necessarily the diet that's the one that's going to help lose weight. It's the fact that some of these people who are on the diets that lose the weight are actually having a very good, productive lymphatic system cleanse. So it has to do with multiple things. So it's not just like, oh my God, I'm on this diet and why is it not working? That's why you have those fad diets. Diet kind of works, but it works in conjunction with your lymphatic drainage system, which is draining all the toxins out of your body. So when you have toxins and they don't have anywhere to go, they go in the fat cells because the body doesn't know where else to store them, because you can't store them in actual legit organs like your heart and your brain, because you're going to be like, you know, and your body knows that it's too toxic and you're going to have issues. So the less issues would be storing them in your fat cells. So it just kind of gives them a bubble, and then your fat cells kind of enlarge a little bit more. There's a whole science behind it. She's got videos. And there's a stink bug in my room. One moment. I am not going to have him staying in here, so just bear with me for a second. Live video, guys. Live video every time. I don't know how this guy even got in here. Come here a little bit. Oh, apparently it's not sealed. That's another thing with living in apartment life. The windows are not sealed. I mean, they're sealed, but they're not for bugs. Because, one, if I had a screen in here, that bug wouldn't have gotten in. Because it sits in a tray, the screen sits in a tray that covers it. It's a thing. Anyway, sorry about that, by the way. Okay, so, anyways, you put the cellulite all over your body, and it helps the body remove the fat cells through the lymphatic system and the excretory system. Okay? Because, of course, and that's my cat. Come on. Come on, say hi to everybody. Come on. Jado, come on. Come on, you're okay. Oh, she's such a goof. You might see her jump up in a minute. Oh, there you go. There's my kitty. She's all, like, confused. Because she's like, what's going on? She's trying to get used to this new place, and she hides under the bed a lot. So, but she also likes this chair because, it chokes her. So if she starts coughing, that's because there's a fuzzy. So anyways, what's been going on is I've been using that. And then on top of that, we've been using Citrus Fresh. So Citrus Fresh, you put on your actual lymphatic centers, which the girl that's doing this was helping us figure out where those are. So there's actually ones here and then here, but because Citrus Fresh is a photosensitive oil, you don't want to put it where the sun's going to hit, because it'll start making a red mark or whatever, because it's going to think that your plant's going to try to photosynthesize you. And you don't really want that. So basically what we do is we put it under our arms, but if I was wearing a shirt like this, and I was going out in the sun, I wouldn't do that. If you're sunbathing and you're in a bathing suit, some of these places you just hold off for the day, maybe take a day off or whatever from doing this, because basically you do it in your stomach, because there's a lot of fat cells in your stomach, and then behind your knees, in your groin area, on the inside of your thighs, behind your knees, which I didn't know that was, a place. That's weird, right? But it's cool. And then around your ankles, which is kind of interesting, because I'm like, your ankles? Really? That's a lymphatic thing? I'm like, okay. So that's where we put the Citrus Fresh, and that's every day, as well as the other Cellulite Magic. So we use those. Sometimes you can use the oil. The girl that does it, she uses it in the shower, and they ask her if, like, the shower gets all, like, slippery and wet and stuff, and she goes, no, for her. I personally don't want to use it in the shower, just because my OCD kicks in, and I'm like, I don't want to be cleaning that up. I mean, I know the water hits it and stuff like that, but I'm just weird, as you all know. One moment, let me take my water. And I have been noticing, I haven't been doing the detox baths yet, because I just got the rosemary. Because what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be putting rosemary in 2 cups of Epsom salt, and then we're putting it in a bath with 10 drops of rosemary. There's also like a super detox one, which you soak for about 20 to 40 minutes. It's been proven in apparently it was like some kind of study by some college or a group, that 40 minutes is the optimal for a full, complete detox drainage of your system for a bath. Now, I'm not a bath person per se. My grandmother was. She was always doing the bubble baths with, like, the Avon and all that stuff, and I was always a shower person. That's just how I go. But this I do have a bath. She also said if you do not have a bath, you can do a foot soak, which I'm like, oh, duh. I had a pan, whatever. Didn't have my thing though. There is a what they call detox on steroids version, which I was a little bit like, I don't know if I want to do that, because already I'm having slight detox symptoms, which definitely is a good thing, you know. And people are like, well, why are your symptoms are freaking crap, and like you're getting a headache and you know, whatever else, and you're like, why is that good? And you're like, it's good because it's getting the toxins out of your system. It's a sign that you're getting the toxins out. So the way to get rid of all that stuff, drink more water, flush it out. Now, with me dealing with energy drinks to have to go to work and things like that, it's a little bit more of a balancing act, kind of like how the ULA people do the balancing of the different aspects in your life. That's kind of like what I've been kind of figuring out, because when I'm at work, immediately last night I was starting to have that headache thing going on again, and I immediately came home and took a shower, because I know water is very good for this. And I'm sorry this is going on very long, but I'm trying to explain what I've been doing and things like that lately. So the detox steroids bath, you get 4 cups of Epsom salts, 4 cups of baking soda, 4 cups of 3% hydrogen peroxide, and then 10 drops of rosemary. So that one's a little bit more of a, whoo, if you really want to get it out and get out more fast. Now, the other thing is, if you start having these symptoms of like this detox symptoms, then basically just go and take a bath, do a detox bath, drink more water, you know, different things like that. So there's a lot of other different things. So yeah, we do that, and then that's every 3 days. And beyond that, I haven't been able to do that lately because I haven't had it until now. So I'm like behind the ball on that one, but it's still okay. And then beyond that, that's the lymph challenge. So I'm doing this just basically to see how I would feel after the fact. Right now I can't really gauge whether or not the head tension, the headache is because of the caffeine, because I didn't have any caffeine, or I had too much caffeine. But I do notice I've been having heart palpitations lately from that stuff at work, especially last night. So that's one other reason why I came home and ended up getting back in the shower and just staying in the shower for a little bit to get that water back in my system, because when you drink green tea, you know, it's anything that would be a diuretic that would take, you know, water out of you. Same thing with coffee or any kind of energy drink. I'm also doing this challenge, I'm also during this challenge not eating the way I should be. So when you're doing this, you kind of want to be, the optimal way to do it is to not have any chemicals in like your ditch and switch is what I talk about with a lot of people that want to get healthy, but sometimes it's not an optimal situation when somebody's doing this, so that's totally okay. You just, when you don't have the ditch and switch aspects, you tend to have more detox symptoms because you have more toxins in your environment, and your body and your lymph system is trying to detox from all that stuff. So a lot of that is going on. I like the wheat and the gluten with my system being overinflamed. If I was completely on a gluten-free diet, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be having like the miniature headache or whatever, and kind of like the little like woo. But beyond that, I mean, it's just kind of like lifestyle. When you have these situations and you just have to go with what you got, right? My shampoo, I had to transfer back over to a normal over-the-counter shampoo because I didn't have enough funds to support my shampoo from Young Living, you know? So it's like a touch and go. Eventually I get that back, and it's going to be all good. But for right now, it's all good. So there's a lot of that going on. Beyond that, like I said, I had with the heart murmur thing and the palpitations, I'm going to see my, mom's doctor, which I got in. It's in July. So she's going to see if she wants to do an echocardiogram or whatever other thing that she's doing, a CT or I don't even know what, to see what's going on with that. After I had the CV, it did kind of get worse, as well as thinning of the hair. So she definitely also wants to know whether or not the anemia is relative to that too, because the anemia is what I got after I got that, because I got the CV, which shut everything down, if you know what I mean, which we can't say on here because then we get flagged, in December and then in January. So that is a big thing, trying to figure out what that is, because my doctor didn't exactly explain to me, but she knows how I try to research and do different things. So she's just kind of being like, we're not going to say this whole thing because we don't want your head spinning with 1,000 million things, which is kind of what I do. That I admit. First thing to admit is admitting. So anyways, that's that as well. So we'll figure out what that is. I will have to need somebody to take me to the or the endoscopy. But it'll probably end up being my father. Or somebody, I don't even know. But she has to call me first because now I keep saying gyno, it's not the word I want. The gastrologist who I had apparently told me not so good information, and my doctor said there's been other complaints about her. So I was supposed to see Trubish, who was my doctor from before, but I couldn't get in to see her, so they gave me another lady in the office. And apparently this girl, I mean, she means well, she really does, and I love her, she was great, but apparently she's not getting to the bottom of why I was called over there. She didn't understand that, apparently. So there's mixed messages. Granted, it's Mercury retrograde. It's the tail end of Mercury retrograde. On the 3rd, we'll be free of it, and it'll go direct again. So this is a lot of that part. And we'll see what else needs to happen, because I definitely need that to go, because my insurance will probably change in the coming weeks depending on what happens with the estate with my grandparents. That's still another headache too. We still haven't figured out the executorship thing. That's all still up in the air because New York State is just being pokey slow, but it is what it is. So, as of June, we're thinking about selling the house and putting it on the market. So that's another whole big thing. And luckily I stepped down as executor, so I don't have to deal with it. I have a little bit more free time and stuff than my brother, who, stepped up in me and my aunt's place. But he's out there with the lawyer more than I am, so it works. So it's just weird with the idea of having to sell the house, the house that I've been in the longest out of all of us that have been there. I know Barb's gonna be, when she comes next month, she'll probably, have mixed feelings too, and but for me it's probably gonna be the hardest because I have the most memories of Mom and Grandpa in there and Eric, and it's been kind of tough having like this month be the anniversary of Eric's passing for a full year. So it's kind of, I'll get moments where I'm at work and it'll just hit me and I'll be like, oh, and I'll hear a song on the radio because we have a really good station radio at work, and I'll just hear these songs from either Supernatural or Roswell by Dido, and all these other shows that Eric and I used to watch together when we were growing up, and it just, I'm like, oh, I just kind of, it's not as bad as it was with me like before when I'd be like completely like start crying my eyes out and couldn't function, but you get into that place where you buckle down and you just go on autopilot because it's survival. Especially when this whole entire time I was moving and getting all my stuff here, and then my back. That's the other thing, my back. I have to get my back looked at. I had my back looked at, and they said I was fine with the x-ray, but it's been popping back and forth, and it's been getting me a lot of pain. And I haven't really had back issues. And ironically, there's another house right across, and there's a Apex, right? And the mourning dove just went, sat right on it. Right on the Apex, and it was kind of funny, because it just was in the line of sight. Squirrel brain here, people. So anyways, that's another thing I have to have looked at. I need to go to a chiropractor, but most of the chiropractors that I know of don't take my insurance, so I have to try to call the one. I think there's a group that's through the Orchard Park Red Tail, like where Dent is, over there, if you're familiar with Western New York, because I know this is public. And so I'll have to see about that, but I have to also filter it in between all of what I'm doing, and it's just kind of crazy because I don't have a set system here, and I don't have everything in order here, so I'm still scatterbrained. When I have a set system and everything's in order, then I feel better. It's just the thing with me. Plus, with my schedule being like back and forth, okay, you're going to be this time at work, you're going to be this day at work, and it was just kind of like, It's now kind of been back to more of a set schedule, which is better. But it's also weird with the way the work is set up too, with things in the background. So, that's being adjusted as well. So, and it being busy season, selling stuff in a hardware store, you're just kind of in the summer, you're just gonna be like, here you go, blip. So yeah, there's a lot of different things, a lot of things to adjust to. I'm also doing an online crystal certification course through Hibiscus Moon, which is one of the most sought after teachers and certifications. Most people who are in the crystal community usually go through. This is her last year doing it, so I figured I'd jump on the bandwagon and do it. So now, those of you who actually did, if you're still following me this long, if those of you who actually did, and it doesn't tell me how long I've been on here, it just says live, which kind of sucks with the update on this. So I don't know how long I've been on here. So basically, it's just, okay, 30 minutes according to what my Facebook thing says on my computer. 31 now. Basically, what it is it's just, it's a certification that people who are sensitive and know about crystals, know about energy, know about metaphysics, basically who do Reiki. It works very well with Reiki. People who do Reiki. I'm already certified in Reiki. And the girl, Sean, who certified me in Reiki, she was like, when she was doing the Reiki, she goes, wow, your energy, you just eat this up. You're like, this is just, I've never seen the sage smoke like anybody like that. And I'm like, it's just who I am. I'm like, I'm just an anomaly among people. But it's not necessarily an anomaly when your tribe soul group is what's called to help people now, especially with the craziness going on. So anyways, I'm getting that done. I need my volunteers who opted in to volunteer, who messaged me before, and you guys know who you are. I will message you because I need to do either if you're going to be doing a distance one, we need to set up a Zoom, and we'll be doing it in this room. And I need to actually get centered, and I think I'll be doing that next week, so that I can actually graduate and then move on to the Crystal Master certification, which is 16 credit hours through electives. Kitties. And I've learned how to do Reiki, well, not Reiki, but crystal healing on pets, and doing, I have to have you guys fill out forms, though, because it's got to be legit. Because if I'm going to be doing eventually doing a practitioner's thing somewhere in the future, then maybe I have to get that set up. And so, what are you doing, cat? I have to also learn how to focus. But usually my distractions, like my cat, are out in the other room. She was under the bed when I closed the door, so I didn't even know she was here. What are you doing, Shadow? She likes to knock my crystals off my table, too. So anyways, she's still trying to get used to everything around here, too, because she doesn't have her set system of where she sleeps or where she hangs out and where she feels protected either. Come on. You want to sit on my lap? Come on, sit on my lap. Ooh, I know you're warm. Okay, good kitties. Good kitties. She's like, I don't know. Go sit on the floor, in the sun. Go sit on the sun. I should go sit in the sun. The patch of sun on the floor from the window. Yep, there she used to sit there. Anyway, so I've been doing that. I've also been working on, I totally forgot the name because I just blanked out all of a sudden. Kyle Gray's Angel certification, which I did 2 years ago, before the shutdown, and I've been still trying to figure it out. But when the shutdown happened, I was working constantly to make up for, things, trying to save money and things. And then I had my car expenses, which is another old fun thing too, which I've called them and have to figure out that as well. Because now I'm like, do I need renter's insurance? Because people are freaking not taking the lint out of the dryer. And I'm like, I do not want another incident. Kind of like how I was on Main Street when the dryer exploded. Because people weren't being savvy enough. We also are getting people from the other apartment coming over here behind us in apartment 200, the building 200, that are coming here because their laundry is not good, and theirs is broken. So that offsets too. And my room is right here next to the washer and dryer. Because when I first came home the first night, my whole entire kitchen flooded. Because people were putting lint in the sink. And then when the water went in, it clogged up the sink. And then it clogged up my room. So that was fun. Apartment living, yay! So when I go directly to the, instead of sending my check-in, I actually go and hand deliver it in Derby, or not in Derby, but in Boston. So I go directly to the source because I am not one to fool around, and when shit needs to get done, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to go over the person who's here, who's not getting shit done, and I will be like, hey, this needs to get done. And it's been getting done. So I'm like, hey, I'm showing you that I'm legit, I am respectful, and I go in, I say, this needs to get done, this needs to get done, blah, blah, we're having this issue and this issue, you know, and, you know, let's see about this. Most people over here don't actually they send their stuff in, and they go to the person here, like Kim. Kim, I don't know much about Kim. Kim lives on the property, she's the property manager. It's okay, whatever, but apparently stuff doesn't get done, because it doesn't get back to the source. So I go directly to the person in the office who's liaison with the property manager, and I put down the stuff and it gets done because I've actually gotten my screen done, and my screen for the kitchen window and the screen for the sliding door. Now I gotta get my doorknob done, and I actually ended up getting the refrigerator fixed, and the guy did all of it at once, and he lives right here, which is kind of funny. And I also got the one plate in the stove fixed because it's an electric stove, so that's another fun thing. Learning to cook with electric versus gas. Very interesting. So there's a lot of things, and this is the reason why I haven't been on very much lately, because for the last couple of years I've been dealing with a lot of things and a lot of change. And you know me, I don't really like a lot of change, and I'm trying to find myself again and trying to find my courage and my, you know, who I am and why I'm here and what I'm supposed to bring to the population. And a lot of that has to do with not conventional stuff. Esoteric type things. A friend of mine I've been talking to, well, not lately because he's not talking back to me, but he knows who he is, and he's into that too, and he understands a lot of that. And yeah, I hope he's doing good, by the way. And it's just it's very fun. It's kind of sad sometimes because people don't understand, and they ostracize you, and they're like, oh no. And then, you know, this being also the month for mental health awareness is a big thing too, because people need to know that that kind of stuff does cause a stigma. The fact that people are like, oh no, that's not convention, you can't make money doing that, you know, that's not a job, you know, you're just, you know, faking it, you know, you're just trying to bamboozle somebody, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can be judgy, and like on our ends, as being an ESP and, you know, highly sensitive person, HSP, and it, I was just say ESP because it's empath sensitive person. It's we have to learn to not take it personally, which we take everything personally because we can actually feel other people's emotions. And I know it kind of sounds weird, and it kind of sounds invasive, but it's not. We don't go normally. Most of us don't go and be like, oh, by the way, I feel that blah 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 blah, that you had this and that. So we don't say anything really unless the person like starts the conversation or we ask them first, because it's personal free will. And you're not supposed to go against free will. So if a person's not into it, then we don't say anything because there's no sense. That's on their plan and whatever they wrote in their chart. So a lot of this too has to do with the fact that I'm trying to find where I am, trying to find what gifts I have, what I'm supposed to be doing with the earth, with the planet, you know, helping people. How am I supposed to be making money? What job is a good job for me because I'm super sensitive, so what aspects are good for me? How can I make a living without going against my system and my you know, being overly like freaked out? And most people don't don't get it because they're not highly sensitive people themselves. So how are they going to understand if they don't feel it themselves? Shadow, I know you're fine. So she's like, I want to go outside. So yeah, it's a lot to take in. But I'm gonna get off here, and this is just a tidbit on what I've been doing. I'm loving the Young Living stuff. If you're ever interested in the Young Living stuff, hit me up. We actually have bonuses now, and things like that. So it's really, really kind of cool. We have more things coming in. Convention is next month, so we're getting ready for convention as well. There's this is why I'm got 15,000 things on my mind, because it's all hitting at the same time, and the normal yearly stuff is coming, and it's just coming at a time where my own personal life is kind of within it all. So trying to figure out stuff. And this Saturday is my brother's welcoming for his new house. So it's a housework welcoming plus my nephew's birthday. So back in their house in Rwanda, so where they are in Rwanda, so that's going to be really cool. So he's got a lot on his plate too. And my aunt's got a lot on her plate. And actually I talked to a bunch of people through my job, and I heard that the people across the street from us at South Street were having, different things going on with them, and everybody's moving, and on South Street there was a couple people that actually ended up passing, so their houses are going up for sale. So there's just a lot going on all around. There's the housing market is insane right now. It's really hard for people to actually buy houses, but to sell them, it's a really great market. It's a seller's market. There's a lot of other things going on. People moving out of state. You've seen the political stuff if you watch TV. I try not to watch TV because I get way too emotional about it as a ESP, emotionally sensitive person, I guess you could call it. As an empath sensitive person, and it's just very, very interesting. But I'm gonna get going because my cat's meowing, and I gotta figure out what time is it. I don't even know what time is it. I'm not used to having my desktop. 9:36 in the morning. I get up at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock now because the sun comes in this window, and my eyelids are very thin, and my skin on my face is thin, so I definitely can see light and things. So that's another reason why I'm sensitive and weird. But hey, I am who I am, and I'm not gonna scrouch down and hide my light anymore and my weirdness, as people say. I mean, everybody knows I'm into crystals. Everybody knows I'm into astrology and personology and how things relate to everything and all the different aspects of life and stuff. So my next aspect is to get off the gluten as much as I can. I'm going to be trying to do a week of detox this next week for the beginning of June to see if I can just do rice and the other and see what happens. Hopefully I can do that. Get off of it as much to see what happens with my body, and go from there. But I will keep you guys updated with what's going on. I will keep you updated with what goes on with convention, because I will definitely be hopefully doing a live depending on what day it hits and when I'm working. If not, I'll be doing a recap. And I'll keep you guys updated with my certification for my crystal certification practitioner course. And then I gotta get all of that. I gotta get all those certifications mounted on my wall too. If at some point I've got 7 different ones. So yeah, very interesting. A lot of doing things, and it's time to take those certifications, actually make a living off of them. And it's scary and unknown territory, but I'm doing that as well as I'm doing the other stuff. So trying to, in between all my free time, trying to be like, woo. And then there's Eric in the ether being like, you need to have fun. Don't forget to have fun. So he'll come back in with songs and things that I'll be like, oh, I need to go play my PlayStation, and I never get there because I'm either doing one business thing, having to actually be in the physical business in town, and then doing the other stuff through videos and things and business meetings and Zooms and all the things, just to make ends meet, right? We gotta do what we gotta do. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for sticking with me this long, and if you ever want to know anything, just hit me up, whatever, I'm cool. And I will upload these to my YouTube channel, which is sorely missed. They're like, what? And yeah, the next one will probably be shorter. I don't know. And I will talk to you guys later. All right, love you guys. Love, light, and blessings. Stay safe. Stay as centered as you can when you're going out of Mercury retrograde. So start thinking about those things, about if you need a contract, sign, get a new job, these things for things, because it tends to be more okay. And the communication stuff will start to come down. So communication will be a lot better now. So yeah. All right, I will talk to you guys later. I don't know why that just went dark. But yeah. All right. Bye.